Chodesh Tov B'Tayt. It says in Gemara, Masechet Ta'anit, Mi shenichnas Adar marbim besimcha. When Adar comes in, we do more simcha. We increase simcha. Right? So what does that mean to do more simcha? How do you do the simcha? So there's several things, that are said about that. Number one, it means, that if you have like some occasions, some smachot, some parties to do, this is the best time to do a party, on Chodesh Adar. Bring music, and dancing and good, nice party. Right? You don't make a party for no reason. You know what I mean? There has to be a reason for a party. But, anyway, right? If you want to do the party, this is the best time to do, if you have a good reason to make a party. If you don't have a good reason, then why make a party for nothing, just sing and dance for nothing. What do you need it for? There's no purpose in that, right? But if you have something like, Seudat Mitzvah, for instance, you learn a Gemara, you finish Gemara, you want to do now Seudat, right, Siyum, so this is the best time to do something like that, right? This is the fine time to do it. Bring some music, bring some good food, bring some wine, do some simcha, make a nice party. Also, if you want to do, let's say Chatuna, right? Wedding. This is the best time to do Chodesh Adar, to make a wedding, because it's time for simcha. So do simcha. It's good. It's great if you can do. If you can find something like that, it's also good. Things like this, But there's also other things that are involved, which is also to be personally more sameach than you usually are. That's also a part of it. How do you do that, right? I remember one time I asked my rabbi when I was younger, "How do you do that?" I asked him. So he says, "Take every day." He told me, he says like this: says, Take a glass of wine and drink a glass of wine. Maybe sameach, drink some wine. The problem is, wine is not good for everybody. You know why? Because people fall asleep, from wine. When you sometimes you drink, you doze off. So it's not always good to drink wine. Whatever. But that's the thing. I personally, if I'm doing just in the middle of the day, right in the afternoon, and I drink some wine, I fall asleep right there. I can't stay up like that. So it's not good for me. It's not a good thing for me, But so wine, I only drink if there's a reason to drink wine. Same thing, as we said, right? There has to be a reason for that. Just drinking wine for no reason, you fall asleep. What does it help you, But it's good, if you can be sameach with that, it's gonna you have simcha, then it's okay, it's good, right? So why not, drink a little bit. They say, by the way, also, that wine is healthy, but the red wine, it's good for the heart. That's what the doctors, they say, that. So, there is also some health benefits there, when it comes to wine. But the Chazal warn us, also, another thing, what about when it comes to wine? That it brings people to do sins, they do all kinds of sins, they get drunk, they do all kinds of crazy things. So a person can come to do sin, because of wine also. So, you have to be careful also, because of that, so. Wine is maybe perhaps not the best, solution for simcha. So what is the best solution? You know what it is? To study Torah, because it says, right, that the Torah is mesameach et halev. If you study Torah, it makes you sameach, because it makes the neshama happy when you study Torah, So if you want to do more simcha, learn more Torah. This is the best way to do it, especially for a person who loves Torah, There are people who they don't love Torah so much. But if you do love Torah and you really enjoy it, right? So then, for sure, right, for you, the best way to do simcha is to do Torah, more Torah. That's right. That's the way it is. Okay, so that's Chodesh Adar, right? Just just telling you a general thing. Marbim besimcha, we do all kinds of things to make things more. There's also another thing they say about Chodesh Adar, which is that the mazal is good, right, for the Jewish people on the Chodesh Adar. The mazal goes up. So that's why they say, if you have a court case, if you have a din, right, against a goy, this is the best time to go, to court with him. If you can do it on this month, right? They say, if let's say you got a summons, right, in the court to go to appear, somebody sued you, lo aleinu. So you know what you do, right? So send your lawyer, right, and tell them to go to the court and say, Your Honor, you tell the judge like this, Your Honor, can you adjourn the case until Chodesh Adar? Until March, whatever it is. Okay. So if he's going to let you, try to do it in Chodesh Adar. The Goyim, they don't know about these things, when you say, they think you're just trying to prepare the case or something, You don't have to tell them, good mazal. Don't tell them that. Just say, yeah, I want to go, I want to push it off to this time. I mean, you don't have to tell them the reason why. And, whatever. And if you can do that, this is the best time. Why? Because if you go to court, right, in Chodesh Adar, you have much more stronger chance to win the case. Right? So it's good, right? But if you're going against a Jew, right, it doesn't matter, because it's both the same. You're both the same, so what difference does it make? It's only if you're going with a goy. This is what we're talking about here. So the mazal is also good, It's a time of strong mazal. There is a question, by the way, they ask about this, the chazal, the rishonim. They say, but wait a second, you're telling me that the mazal in Chodesh Adar is strong for the Jews, right? But didn't the chazal say, that the Jews don't have mazal, they're above the mazal. The mazal doesn't affect them. So, how is it strong in Adar? But they're above the mazal, the Jewish people. This is the question, So the Rishonim, they answer, like several ways to answer this question. The Ritva talks about this, all kinds of other Rishonim. Some of them, they say like this, that usually Jews don't have mazal, usually. Most of the time. But in Chodesh Adar, the mazal goes up, it's an exception to the rule. That's what it is, So yes, most of the time they're above the mazal, but Chodesh Adar is something else. The mazal is high. Right? So it's an exception. That's one way to look at it, There's also another way that they say, that when we say that the Jewish people, are above the mazal, what does that mean? That means as a group, as a nation, as a ummah, right? As a people, they're above the mazal. But individually, right, there is mazal for people, individually they do have mazal. So it depends what kind of mazal you're talking about. Some things were above the mazal, the Jewish people. Some things not so much, Some things that we are affected by the mazal. Like the Chazal, they say, right? There are 3 things that come from mazal. You know what those 3 things are? Parnasah, right? Wealth. If you don't have good parnasah, if you don't have good mazal, whatever you do, whatever you try to do, doesn't matter. You're not going to be rich. If your mazal is no good, jump here, jump over there, jump here, go to college, go to university, go to 47th Street. Doesn't matter where you go. Go to the internet. You're not going to make a lot of money because your mazal is no good. So what can you do? Nothing you can do about that. So that's one thing that is affected by mazal, the parnasah. What's another one? Marriage, getting right, marriage, children, having children, A person has a certain mazal, how many children he's going to have, So if his mazal is to have only 5 children, let's say, right? He cannot have 10. It's not going to work. It's not going to go. The mazal says 5, right? Mazal says 2. Whatever it is, right? That's it. That's all he's going to get. To try to go above that mazal is very, very hard. You have to do a big fight. How did Abraham Avinu do to go above the mazal? His mazal was to have no children, right? Childless, barren. How did he go above? He changed 3 things, right? He changed his place. He moved to a different place. Then he changed his name, right? Abraham. He added a hey to the land, right? Change his place. So because of that, right, you change all these kinds of things, and this you can change your mazal like this. But otherwise, if the mazal is no good, it's very hard to overpower the mazal. Avraham Avinu was able to do it like that, Change the place, change the name. That's why, they say the Chazal, that if a person sees, that he's not doing good in a certain place, where he lives, he can't get married, he can't find children, can't get children, he doesn't have good parnasah. They say, let him try to move somewhere else, go somewhere, go to Florida, go to Eretz Israel, right? Even better, right? Whatever it is,
I think there is also health involved.
What about the health?
It's changing place, you're also fixing your health.
Yeah, in other words, the lifespan, how long you're going to live, right? That's it's the same thing, It's not really the health so much. Because the health is because of sins, When a person gets sick, it's not because of mazal, it's because he has sins. He has averot. That's why he gets sick. So not really so much this one. But when it comes to these things, right? And also your lifespan, how long you're going to live. Also, it's mazal. They gave you 75 years, That's it. That's all you're going to get. Unless you can change your mazal. Again here, right, we say it's very hard to change a mazal. You have to have special zechut for this. You have to do special things to change your mazal. Most people cannot change a mazal, like these things, So these three things, it comes from mazal. But other things, like you said, the health, right? No, that's not mazal. That's zechut. If you have sins, you get sick. People get sick because of sins. That's what it's about.
When child get born, birth, when child come to this world,
Yeah.
he get sick very often, and he didn't do nothing to get sick.
Oh, you see what he's asking? Oh, good question, right? So you know what the answer is to that question? They say the Chazal, if he's a child, right? He's not bar mitzvah yet. And he got sick, it's not because of his sins, it's because of your sins. That's the thing, It's from the parents. It's because of the parents' sins. And then when he grows up, it's because of his sins. That's something else, right? But when he's a child, it's because of the parents. It's their fault. There's all kinds of things about that. Oh, God, if we get into this now, right, we'll be here all night but talking about these things. But anyway, the point is, right, that there are certain things that are mazal, they have mazal. There are certain things that don't have mazal. So here, right, Chodesh Adar, the mazal goes up for the Jews. This is something which, right, so therefore, right, you have to use that, you try to utilize this for your advantage, right, to make sure, right, that you get whatever you deserve, try to strengthen your mazal by doing things at the right time, at the right place. That's the thing, that's Chodesh Adar. So, this is the thing, that also we have, the holiday of Purim, which is a very big thing, big holiday. They say, right, regarding the holiday of Purim, that when Mashiach comes, right, all the other holidays are going to be bottled, but not Purim. Right, there's one midrash like this, it says like this. All the other holidays, we're going to forget them. There's going to be new holidays, All the other Yom Tov, right, Pesach, Sukkot, no more. Right, finished. But Purim, no. Right, so Purim is a very strong thing. It's a very strong holiday. It's a very big thing. It's a very deep holiday. With all kinds of things there. That's why the Chazal tell us, that right, that you should get drunk on the day of Purim. Usually, right, you're not supposed to get drunk. The Torah is very against this, to get drunk. The one day of the year that the Torah tells you to get drunk is on Purim. Why is that? Because Purim is such a kadosh holiday. It's so holy that even getting drunk is okay. It's even good. It's even good for you. So that's the thing. You see right here that the strength of Chodesh Adar has all kinds of things, that we have to enjoy. We have to utilize all these things, for our advantage. Okay, very good. Let me just tell you something a little bit here about Havdala, right? We're going to continue a little bit. We already talked about Besamim, right? How to do, Besamim with Havdala. Now, the next thing is Ner, right? Candle. So, which comes first? Right? We already said, right, that the Besamim comes first and then the Ner. Yavne, right? We said. So that's one thing. But the question is, right, what kind of Ner are you supposed to use for Havdalah, So they say, in Shulchan Aruch it says, you're supposed to use avuka. What's avuka? What is that? That means it has only not one wick, it has several wicks. Right? Pitilot. One is not enough for Havdalah. You have to have several. So you got to get something like that. Avuka. Which material is the best for Havdalah candle? Because you can use paraffin, right? You can use wax. You can use all kinds of things, or you can use just matches. Spichka. I remember one time I saw one rabbi. He lit up spichka. Two of them. Avuka two, and he made Havdalah like that. He didn't. I guess he didn't have a candle, whatever it was. But anyway, right? Which one is the best? So says the Beratev, the best one is the wax. according to Kabbalah, right? According to Kabbalah, the wax is the best. So meaning what? When you go to the store, right, to buy Havdala candle, don't get paraffin, no. Try to get wax if you can. It's even better, It's okay, it's kosher, paraffin. Paraffin is kosher, but wax is even better, right? What kind of wax are we talking about? Beeswax, right? Beeswax, from the bees. That's the best Havdala candle.
Is it big difference between wax and
Yeah, I can't tell you, it's not the end of the world, let's put it this way, right? Lo sof ha'olam. It's not the end of the world, but, try, right, to do the best way, if you can. So, as we said, right, number one, avoka, right? Make sure, how many wicks does it have to have? Says the Ramah, at least 2, right? Our candles have like 5 or 6, 7, they have a lot, right? But the Ramah says minimum is 2. That's avoka, right? How do you say avoka in English? Torch, right? That means it's not 1 wick, several wicks. So, that's right. That's a couple of things that we have to know about the Havdala candle, right? Also, the same thing we said yesterday, which is, I'll stop here, I don't want to go too long. We said, right, that if you can't find besamim in your house, you don't have to go looking for it, right? Just make Havdalah without it, right? What about the ner? So, says Shulchan Aruch, same thing with the ner, If you don't have a ner, you can do without. Usually people have ner, Baruch Hashem, in the house, they have something, They got something there. So if you don't have like a, Havdalah candle, right? Let's say you just have a regular candle, right? Or you just have some spichka, right? Some matches. What do? Take 2, put them together, and like this, that's how you do. So there's a way to do it, even if you don't have a candle. But if a person doesn't have nothing, right? He has no esh, he has no fire, nothing. Right? So let's say he's in a place where he's got nothing there. At home he has everything, but sometimes he goes somewhere. So you can make Havdalah without also ner, right? You can skip that, if you. And then later on, right? Later, if you find, candle, right, and besamim, you should make later those brachot. If you couldn't find it then.
some people do on light.
Oh, you hear this? Oh my God. Oh, right. You mean on the electric, right? The electric, yeah. So truth is, that Maran Rabbi Shalom, he writes, most poskim also, they write that don't use electric, for Havdalah. Not a good idea. And there are reasons for it,
Nothing.
Right, exactly, if you have nothing, yes. If you have nothing, But the question is, can you make a bracha on this, because it's a safek, So it may be better to wait, just to make it on an air, because if you make a bracha, maybe it's bracha levatala. I have to check that a little bit, I have to check it out. But anyway, the point is like this, right, that, as we said, if you don't have an air, you can just, and then later, if you find something, nice nair, or you find a besamim, you can make later. Those brachot. When is the latest you can make? Till the end of the night, right? Until Amud HaShachar. Once it's in the morning, already too late. Right? You cannot make. Nair and besamim, you cannot make. Only the night. So once the night is over, that's it. Come on.
I heard that if you, let's say, forgot, or you're in some place where you don't have anything else like that, you can do like for the next 3 days.
Yeah, so you see, he's right what he's saying, but that's with Havdalah,
That's what I'm saying.
But not with Ner Besamim. Ner Besamim, you only have that night. That's it. That's all you got.
One kiddush.
Right, that's something else, right? But when it comes to Ner Besamim, you only have that night. That's it, right? If you miss the night, finished, right? The mitzvah is gone.
So other days only kiddush.
Right, you can do Kiddush, right? You can do on Sunday. You can make Kiddush on Sunday, right? But Ner and Besamim, lo asur, right?
I thought like that until Wednesday you have.
Yeah, Kiddush, but not some Havdalah, but not Ner and Besamim. Ner and Besamim only that night. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen, amen. רבי חנן בן שאומר, אצל הקדוש ברוך הוא לא זוכה לישראל, לפיכך הכי בא להם תורה ומצוות, שנאמר אדוני חפש, למען צדקו יגדיל תורה וידיר.